My dear brothers and sisters in the risen Lord, 33rd Sunday, the main theme of 33rd Sunday is, can we love without taking risk? In these days of predominance of liberal and neoliberal economy, it would be tempting to take advantage of the theme of the talents. The talent had a great deal of value. To speak of money saved and invested, of wandering capital and secret bank accounts. But in fact, the parable of the talents points to something else. Two attitudes. The parable tells us about two attitudes of those who pass on what they have received from God, and of those who keep for themselves what the Lord wanted to give to them. In addition, the focus of the parable is the criticism of the second attitude. From the start, in the image of absence of the man going on a journey. Matthew chapter 23, verse 40. The responsibility of Christians in the history is recalled. They are responsible for the proclamation of the gospel. In everyday life, with its good and bad moments, its tension and conflicts, Jesus' disciples have to bear witness to life. That is the meaning of receiving talents. This is what St. Paul tells us that we have to keep awake. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 6. The first two slaves did just that. Moreover, their vigilance is translated into service, and thanks to their work, the Lord's gifts have produced fruits. The first reading is taken from a classic text of Proverbs. In this passage, beyond the limits imposed by a particular vision of a woman's role, we find the praise of generous behavior, which naturally expresses love of others. The real joy of the Lord. The attitude of third slave on the parable is entirely different. Mean and fearful, he pretends to be on good terms with God without leaving his own world. Matthew chapter 23, verse 18. He thinks that a life of faith is something that happens only between himself and God. A God he considers demanding and harsh, more interested in punishment than in love. Matthew chapter 23, verse 24 to 25. He does not understand the meaning of gospel demands, which he interprets as religious norms of exact and formal observance. Others, the people living around him, have no place in his Christian life. Moreover, his relationship with others could be dangerous for him. They might have taken him away from his intended path and prevented him from complying with what he sees as his neighbors as a believer. This is why he prefers to take no risk. And I give back to the Lord exactly what he has received. Thus, he feels more secure. St. Paul would say that he is asleep. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 6. The slave will soon know, and so will be, that his way will not lead him into light but to darkness. Matthew chapter 23, verse 30. In his narrow-mindedness, You can conceive only of a God in terms of rewards and punishments. On the contrary, the God of Jesus never tires of loving freely and of making demands. The grace of his love overflows the banks of our selfishness and false security. Faith is not something that we keep in a safe to protect it. Faith is life, which is expressed in love and gives to our neighbor. In the gospel, being afraid is equivalent to having no faith. Therefore, how can we love without taking a risk, without entering into the world of our own countries dispossessed, who are struggling for their right to life? Our solidarity with them will lead us to unforeseen dangers and conflicts and perhaps to misunderstanding within our own family and our Christian community. However, the parable of the talent teaches that the joy of the Lord, Matthew chapter 23:21, as well as our own joy, consist in a Christian life based on grace, courage, and concern for other rather than our formality, self-protection, and fear. Let us ask grace to live, to work, and serve only for God in terms of loving our own neighbors. May God bless you all. Thank you. Amen.